Hey guys, today is it's Sunday, it's a few days before our Pyrenees trip, and I got to get some last minute mods done to the patrol before I go away, and the van actually. I don't know what it is about, it doesn't matter how long I own a car or how much stuff I bolt to it, every time I'm ready to go away, there seems to be some rush to bolt something to the car just before I leave. So I'll just quickly duck down to the yard to pick up some stuff and head back. And also this is my birthday weekend. Actually, Thursday is my actual birthday, but like in the Dash household, if it's our birthday, like we get a weekend day which we can do whatever we want, and today's my day, so I'll forewarn you, there could be some day drinking later, maybe not. And I'm gonna get in with, I've got UHF stuff to install, DO35, I've got a big curved light bar I wouldn't mind putting on. I'm not going to get to suspension, but we'll talk about that later. There's heaps of stuff to happen today, and I'm just going to walk you through the process. Oh, and also, I haven't really got back to showing you guys how this office turned out. I'll quickly flip this around, and if you don't care about this, you just fast forward. So this one's almost done now. So this is the big 40 container. Actually, I'll zoom out so you can see. Delivery area down the end there. This is the office. That's how it turned out. So it's like downlights, proper officey stuff. I haven't got my laptop here, even a plant. So and I put in a chalk wall here, so the kids can come and muck around. Sometimes they come to the yard and have fun. Even the dogs come to the yard a few times. So that's how it turned out. I'm pretty chuffed actually. Now to build the next container office at 4x4 DNA. Oh, I should talk about that. Hey, so I've been always posting on the Y62 Patrol Modified Action Facebook group. It's almost at 10,000 people on there. I was amazed when I looked at that the other day. But so that's going along strong, and Steve Allen's been putting his builds on there as well. But now that Steve and I've joined up to create 4x4 DNA, we've created another Facebook page, and that's where pretty much every Monday the cars are going to roll in naked, and then at the end of the week they're going to roll out all built. So we're going to put all our posts on the Facebook page 4x4 DNA. Still share the old interesting one to the modified group, but if you want to see all the builds that we're getting up to over there, head over to Facebook page 4x4 DNA. Alright, I do have to do some jobs first. I got to mow that lawn and then wash the car, put the bush barriers on. So I'll show you me doing that. Also, you'll see, okay, height of my garage here is 2.14 meters. My car with a 2-inch lift and 35s is pretty much bang on there. It's about a centimeter under. It's at the point where it depends what tire pressure I'm running at, whether I can get it in the garage or not. Even to the point where if I go out and it's been sitting on say 36 PSI and I drive out, have a hot, the tires heat up to 40, it touches. Then so I park it out the front, let it cool down a little bit, and then I can get in the garage. So that's how close it is to fitting into the garage. I've got, starting off with this trip, I wanted to get max tracks and a shovel, because pretty much every time I go away and get stuck, I have to borrow someone's shovel and max track. So finally I've got my own, and on the roof of the car, and they bolt up to the dash roof rack really well actually. I'll show you what I mean. But it's never going in the garage with all this stuff on. So they sit up there, it looks quite tall. They didn't supply the bolt, so I know there's a few different bolts. K-On I think got a quick release system. Can't believe they sell you the bracket, and it wasn't cheap. For 2 brackets was $100 or something, and I had to go and find my own bolts at the back here. So I'll have to get some of the K-On ones, I think, or the proper Max Trax ones. Now on the other side of the car, you can see my deluxe shovel that I've got here. I don't put an expensive shovel up there because someone's going to pinch it one day. Whereas I had this on my Navara, my first D40 Navara for years. No one ever came close to pinching it. So I'll jump up there and show you. These are like a quick release version, which I like the idea of. How cool is that? Just grab a shovel, put it in, lock it, and they have channel nuts as well, so I can show you. Basically in here, channel nuts go on there, and they go on quite nicely. So I'm just going to keep buying all the accessories that you can find for these vehicles, or for roof racks, and see if they all work with this dash system. Now I've got the light bar to go up here. I'll show you that a bit after. I've got to mow this damn lawn first. Lawn mowed, I've got to wash this next, but I just want to show you what I'm getting up to over here. So, buckets, the bench at the moment. This is everything I'm planning to get through today, and I'll go through it bit by bit. So this is kind of the intro. I'm going to take the hitch off our van and put the DO35 on. Then I'm going to have a look at UHF antenna. So, looking at the car, I'm going to probably mount that at the back somewhere. So I've got this little bolt, it's like a slide nut here, channel nut, that will go inside the channel of the dash rack. And then I've got to work out which antenna I'm going to install. So I'll cable the antenna up. And if anyone's wondering how I'm going to get from the roof into my unit, you'll find that out too. And work out what sort of antenna. So I've got a selection. 2 dB. This one is a 6 dB. I've got another 6 dB one as well. You'll notice it's not like this big masculine broomstick UHF aerial like you see on a lot of cars, but this is all you need, to be honest. And putting it on the roof is going to have less wind drag being so thin, and it will do just as good a job. So that's 6 dB, and then this will be a 9 dB. So this screws onto this sort of knuckle point here, and that will go even further, but it's not perfect. We'll talk a bit more about that later. Other things, once I get the cable, I'm going to have to run this through the car, solder that little end bit on, which is that bit. I haven't done one of these for a while, so I have to have a think about that. And then when it gets into the car, I've got to do the mic. So I've got to work out where I'm going to put the mic mount, and where I've got this other little gadget. Where it is, here we go. Check this thing out. So that's the exact size button that goes into the dash. And what we can do is use a patch lead, like Ethernet patch lead, to go from my hidden ICOM unit under the dash, and then I can plug the microphone in. So when I'm using it, fantastic, it's out, but when I'm not using it, all I see in the dash is that. So yeah, I'll be playing with that a bit later too. Other bits and pieces, RAM pod, I've got a couple of these for phones, and then I've bought another like little mixed bag of other bits here, so I can have my GoPro. So there's somewhere in all this, there's a GoPro mount. There we are. So I can have that in the car or out the car on just a sort of a suction cup system. Losing my speech. All right, time to get into it. Wash this car and put the bush barriers on. Seems a shame to put bush barriers over such a nice colour. I really love the Hermosa blue. I haven't doubted it for a second. But every superhero has to have a costume, so it's time for the bush barriers to go on. Now, I'll talk a bit about bush barriers in a minute because, now, they aren't perfect. Like, you still get little bits of things behind the bush barriers, and ever so small hairline scratches, which polish out really easy. For me, like what I'm going to do to this car, I'm not worried about the little stuff. I can polish that out. What I want to avoid is this sort of stuff. This is when I didn't have them on for that last trip at Glasshouse. Bush barriers would have saved that, and that, and that. All of these big scratches from trees that come through, and it shows up so easy on the Hermosa blue. So, like, I'm not saying they're perfect, but they're far superior than doing nothing, put it that way. Now, I've been storing my bush barriers flat in my spare room lately, so they're ready to go on the car. That's the best way to store them, by the way, under the bed or something like that. We sometimes put them under the caravan bed. Next, I'm not going away till Thursday, and it's Sunday today. Why am I putting them on so early? Well, I want to be prepared, and I actually like the bush barriers to sit like on a nice day like this, nice sunny day, on the car for, you know, a day, 8 hours, something like that, with a bit of warmth on them to just like bed them in. If I put them on and then went for a drive straight away, they'd probably fall off. I think they just need to sit, settle. Even when they're brand new, I just put them on for a week and left them. At the start of the week, I'm like, don't know how they're going to go, but by the end of the week they were like fit like a glove, and then you can do whatever speed you like in them. Now this goes against a lot of the bush barrier like instructions, because they've got to cover themselves. Of course, they say you should take them off every day, and especially if you're in heat. Actually, I'm going to put them on and I'll show you the places where they might adhere if you do leave them on too long. But you should always follow bush barrier instructions, or you can just get into the Don't Do What Dave Did, and I'm probably going to leave on for a week or so. Right, as I was boasting how well I put them away, I forgot that on the way back from Glasshouse, I just rolled them up and put them in the shower, and then I got home and put them flat. So they're all like crinkly through here, but I reckon if I just put them in the sun for 10 minutes, that'll flatten out. And before I put them on the car, I'm going to wipe over them with a microfiber cloth, just a slightly damp one, and then the cohesion sort of sticks into the car. Again, this isn't what bush barriers say how to put them on. They say put them on dry, but this is how I do it. Now, there is most certainly a technique to doing this. Basically, you start where the handle is and go from there. It's hard with one person, but this is how I do it. So get it up onto the door handle, and that's your reference point. The next line you're aiming for is across the top. When you think it's about right, then you kind of layer it down like this. You don't want any ripples underneath it. And I'll leave that for about an hour, and then I'll probably come back and fuss around with it a bit more. I can already see where it got chewed up a bit at the bottom. Just being on here for a couple of minutes with the heat, it's all starting to come out. That is the good thing about this product. And it does expand and shrink as well with temperature. Zoom out. There we go. You are a superhero again, Bluey. All right, the big question now is which mod to do next. Like, I probably should be doing the, putting the DO35 on. That's like not the most exciting one. I really want to get into this UHF, to be honest. And my car couldn't fit into the garage with just the light bar, rear-facing light bar, so I could probably bolt that on again too. So let's do that. We'll work on the back of the car. I'll show you how I'm going to feed the cable through, and we'll do a bit of UHF stuff. All right, so this is the antenna on here, and that's just a half wave antenna the way it sits, and we can put the other ones on. Notice this is a different type of mounting system, like the bolt and everything, than what you would do with a bull bar mounted one. All right, where to mount it? So I've done it before on my last car, where I mounted it up the top, up here, ran the cable up down the A pillar, so you can drill a hole in this stuff, sort of through here, but back. Run the cable through here, take these molds off, pull this A pillar off, and then down through a grommet and through the firewall, and off you go. However, there were some problems. First problem was, once you take these chrome bits off up here, they are near impossible to get back on and look straight again. I ended up having to Sikaflex my last ones on to even get them to look half good. The second problem, these are clipped in with double-sided tape. When I took it off and then put it back the exact same way as the factory had them on, it just propelled off one day. And I can tell you, this panel here costs $250 from Nissan. So I'm just going to avoid that altogether. I'm going to put that antenna probably, I think, up here somewhere. How extendable is this? something like this, come down underneath this little part here, through the grommet, somehow behind this bit of plastic, run it down and all the way back to the head unit. That's the plan. So this is where I'm at. Got the antenna mounted there, perfect position actually, coming down. Just there's a clip right here, just go cable tie on the inside of that clip, come down. That's going to miss ever so slightly just here. Now, I was having a look at all of this and going, oh, do I have to pull the floor out and everything? And I started going down here, and that would just be hard work. And then I realised I'm going to be a little bit sneaky here. So I'm going to duck the cable around here. I've undone, there's a 10mm bolt about there. And I've just basically unclipped everything. I'll climb in here. Let's zoom out a bit. So here's the cable. I'm just going to hide this around there. I'm going to pull all of these panels just slightly off and hide the cable all the way until I can get to that point. And then from there, it's really easy. So I'm not going to pull this entire panel off. I'm just going to take the top clips off all the way around, tuck the cable under, and then run it to the front. Let's see how good I am. I don't even know if I'm in shot, to be honest. If I can do this on the fly. So I'm going to take this center console out so we can feed the cable through. Now, alright. Oh, I haven't done this for a while, but anyway, so first thing, pull that down because we want to get all of this out. There's a clip here which goes which way? Can I remember? This way. And we can pull the gear knob off. So I don't lose it, just put it back in there. And get it later. Alright, that's free now. Next, this whole center console will just lift up, I'm pretty sure. It's just like clipped in. So let's just have a bit of a reef. You can see I don't mind doing this sort of thing. Alright, now I've got access to my UHF that I've already, like the head unit part, which is underneath here. I've just got to get the cable from like just there, under the center console, solder and plug that in, and then deal with this microphone thing. I was just having a look, I've got that awesome little RJ45 socket, but the only thing is, like TILs, there's no room down here. Like, I'd either have to lose my front locker button and move it over that side, which I don't want to do, or I've got this dual, so this is light bar, it's a dual switch into this one place. Light bar on the roof and then spotties on the front, which is actually not even connected at the moment. I'm half wondering whether I ditch this. The only thing is I've just got no room. I don't really want to lose that. I may not actually use that socket. I don't know if you can see it here. I've just got it coming like tucked through here, so it means it's going to be permanently mounted like that all the time. I kind of did want to be able to, you know, take this away when I wanted to, but there's just no space in like TILs for this stuff, so I think I'll just leave it. It's just coming out the corner down here. Well, if I change mine, I've got that socket that's ready to go. Alright, okay. This is going to get fiddly, so I'll turn the camera off. Alright, party goers. We're at the time, and yes, that's a beer in the background because it's past lunch and it's my birthday, somewhat. This is the back of the radio here. I'm going to mount it down here somewhere underneath. But we're at to the point where we need to join the cable to this connector. And I'm going to do it on the fly, and let's hope I don't stuff it up. I'll do my best to get the camera angle here right. Not so you're looking at my mug, but so you're looking at what I'm doing here. Got all these little devices to help with this sort of thing. Let's see how it goes. All right, can you see me working with my hands here? All right, no, that's not gonna work. Damn it. All right, here we go. That's the little connector. I will try as hard as I can for this not to be a groin cam. Good time to put this on now before I forget about it. That's what we have to essentially solder on. So we need to cut about 2 centimeters. So that's like, I don't know, 1, 2's about there. And what we're trying to do is just take the black sleeve and the metal that's underneath it off, nothing more. Oh, I'm sorry, it's wobbling around a bit. I'll do my best. All right. Something like that. All right, so the black sleeve's still there. We want to get rid of that. And apologies, I can see it wobbling. I'll try and do it like this. Also try not to slice my finger off. Not too bad, it's alright, it'll do. Next, we want to take just a little bit more off so we can expose that metal, which is like the earthing. This is probably the tricky bit because you want to go through the black rubber but not the metal. You want every shape, like little bit of wire that's on there as possible. Oh, look at that, just like that. Then what you do is you want to bend this back around back onto the wire. I know that's not the prettiest, but that's kind of what happens. Something like that. So we're going to have a good earth contact. Next we want like a little bit of a collar, like this is a buffer, I don't know, just like a couple of little milliliters. So we can expose the core on the inside now. Kind of like that. I'll twist that up so it looks the biz. And then this piece goes over the top and you thread it through. Something like that. It screws on now. And you go as far as you can, and we can trim those wires up later. Or to be honest, when the collar goes on, that'll trim it up when I screw it up from underneath. But I'll screw it down. Oh, that's got rid of all of them. This is looking pretty good. I haven't done this for like 15 years, I reckon. Something like that. And now, we just want to solder. I don't really call it an active, I don't know what you call it. But we want to solder that in place. So, get my way overly sized soldering on, but it's the only one that I got. Well, it's a better one that I've got at the moment. And I'm going to put some solder on here just to make it conductive, not too much. And then I just want to put a dog down the guts. Wind isn't going to help me. I could probably do this heaps better if there wasn't a camera on, but like, I'm supposed to be a YouTuber. Like, I want the solder on the inside, not on the outside of this thing. That'll do. I'll take that. There we go. Nice wet solder. Basically just cut that off and screw it into the back of the UHF. Good to go. Alright, there we go, finished product. Something like that. Time to plug her in to the radio. Alright, all done. This is how it worked out. So dashes all back together. Yeah, that's just how it's going to have to be with the whatever it is, the mic coming out the corner here. It's pretty hidden. That'll be alright. I've 3M double-sided taped the mic mount on here, and now it sits like that. Beautiful. Be able to talk in. I've done a radio check on both the 2B and the 9dB, and the guy said it was pretty close, so I can't comment about distance, but he said the 9dB was much clearer. Interesting. Just going to have a play with it over this trip and see what the distance is like and what the upsides and downsides are going to be with each of the antennas I've got. Just while I'm here as well, I'm loving these RAM mounts. Check this out. So you can you can put these almost anywhere. So that's going to house my GoPro really well. So when I'm talking to camera in the car, which before I got my wife Sharon to hold the camera for me, but now she can have her phone here. GoPro can be up here and capture the whole car and what's going on. And I'll probably put another one over the other side so I can run my HEMA maps and that sort of thing. So getting the cockpit sorted out, much better. Probably the last thing I want to do in here is just sort out this wood grain. I've learned recently that this is hydrogypped. I'm trying to decide, because I've done vinyl wrapping before. I'm not saying it's bad, but I've done, did it to my last car. So I want to do something different. So I reckon this time I'm going to either hydro dip, and I've got a whole kit that I bought ages ago to do the Navara with, and just never got around to it. So I either do it myself, or I'm actually thinking about sort of copying Longy and just getting it 2-pack painted, because that looked sharp. That looked really clean. So I have a bit of a think about that, and that'll be the next thing when, between the next trip, I reckon. So this is the massive 9 dB, which I don't want to have on all the time. But it's going to be a pretty simple thing to just swap them over. Take that one off. This is the one I'm going to run pretty much most of the time. 2 dB. I actually think because it's up so high, it's probably going to be fine for 99.9% of stuff. But just occasionally when I want that range, or if I'm just want to leave it, like with the max tracks on, it's about the same height as this. So that's the one that will stay on most of the time, especially for full driving. I don't want to hit stuff. And then when I do need the range, I can pull this big bugger out. All right, I've just been smashing it out because I'm running out of time and I've just got to get this stuff done. I did manage to get the 48-inch curved light bar up there. This isn't a product, I'm not going to sell it. I want to test it all through winter. I want to make sure that the IP rating is what it says it is and it's good light. And if it is, you'll see it on the website, but I just want to test it first. Got the rear light on. That is a tested LED light. That's the Hummer 20-inch. That is actually a really good LED light bar. Shovel holders up. Let me show you, hang on. Audio might go out a bit because I'm going to put it on this little selfie stick thing so you get to see everything and the mounts and all that sort of stuff. Probably the only issue, I see is the shovel occluding the side light. I have to work something out for that. And backlight is wired up. Front one, actually, I've mounted it. Haven't wired it up yet because I'm not going to have time and I've got to do this hitch next. So I'll try and do that during the week so I can test it out next week when it will be dark at the Pyrenees. All right, kind of had to call it. Running out of time as always. Had to wash the missus' car. Heaps happening during the week. Massive week coming up, plus going away. So the whole DO35 is going to have to be in another video. Sorry if you've been hanging out to see that. But I haven't had any experience with it. I actually don't know much about the DO35. I've only heard good reviews, but I didn't want to go and put it on the van like now and then go away next weekend without having to do like a bit of a shakedown. So I think I might just use the McHitch one last time. And it's nothing wrong with a hitch. It's just when you've got a drop down tongue and the caravan is on a lean, like it could go either up or down a hill, that's when it gets really difficult. Like it'd be nice to get, when you've got the pin that way, When you see it drop on the pin, it's connected, 100%, no doubting it. When you lift it off the pin, it's disconnected 100%. With them at hitch, there's a lot of times where I'm not sure, and I know I'm hitting the van when I hitch up to it harder than I should. Maybe it's me and I don't know what I'm doing, but I've had it for a while now, so it's going. This will be the last trip this weekend, and then the DO35 will go on. So I'm going to call this video done. Massive, like our first cars are booked into 4x4 DNA. We've got a new employee studying, Carl, who's just going to be a cracker, I know already, and he's going to be helping Steve with all the accessory fitting. Yeah, big week coming. All right, signing off. I'm going to see you next time. Probably it'll be the Pyrenees vlog is the next one you'll see. See you next time on YouTube. Yeah.